With Helluva Season 2 finally starting today, I thought to myself, what better time than now to make a video covering one of VivziePop's largest and greatest lines of merchandise, that being the Hazbin Hotel and Helluva pins. Hello, and in this very video, I'm gonna take you on a trip to see every single Hazbin Hotel and Helluva pin. I wanted to make this video because as of now, there's over 300 pins, but there's no official checklist for them, and if you look online, you're not really gonna find much. So I wanted to be the first person to make a YouTube video documenting every single pin. Before getting started, just a reminder that this video was recorded in July of 2022, where the most recent wave was the summer 2022 wave. So I'm gonna do another video in around a year's time documenting every pin that releases after this video is published. This is gonna be a hell of a ride. Get it? You know, Helluva? You know what, forget it. And let's just get started. Our journey begins on the 30th of January 2019 with the release of the very first pin, that being the Valentine's Angel Dust. This pin is the rarest of them all, because for one, it was a limited edition pin, which means once it sells out once, that's it, gone for good. And also, it released and sold out in the beginning of 2019, that being almost a year before the Hazbin Hotel pilot came out and the fandom got very populated. On top of that, since this pin released when the fandom was relatively small, that means that there was much less of these produced than the pins that are produced today. There's few of these in circulation, so consider yourself lucky if you ever see one of these up for sale. Consider yourself even luckier if you ever see it up for sale for anything less than $500, because trust me, I've seen it sell for much more. Now I'm extremely lucky because I actually own this pin. Now unfortunately, the pin itself is broken off, but it still has the backing card and the plastic. So, if you yourself own this pin, go and give it a kiss, because you own the holy grail of Hazbin Hotel pins. 3 months later, in April of 2019, we got our first proper wave of Hazbin Hotel pins. This consisted of 4 characters: Charlie, Vaggie, Alistair, and Angel Dust. Thankfully, none of these pins are limited edition and get regular restocks. You can get Charlie, Alistair, and Angel Dust on Shark Robot right now for retail price. Vaggie's a different story though. She's been out of stock for ages and there's no sign of her getting a restock. Sometimes when a pin doesn't sell well enough, Shark Robot will go ahead and retire it. By that I mean stop producing it. This seems to be the case with the Vaggie pin, because if you look at old photos of the stock for this wave, you'll see that Vaggie was selling the worst of the 4. It's a real bummer, and I really wish Shark Robot would do another run of the Vaggie pin, because now I'm left with a gaping gap in my Wave 1 pin collection. Another thing to be very, very wary of, there are fakes of this wave. You see this right here? Well, I'm sorry to tell you, you haven't exactly hit a gold mine, you've spotted a fake. There are some minor differences between the fake and official pins, but the easiest way to tell is if it has the Hazbin Hotel backing card. If it does, it's 100% legit, because there is no fake ones that have the Hazbin Hotel backing cards. If I was you, I would definitely buy the Charlie, Angel Dust, and Alistair pins off of Shark Robot, therefore you have no chance of being scammed. Oh, by the way, I haven't explained it yet, but I take it you already know. In case you don't though, Shark Robot is the official store for all of the Hazbin and Helluva merch. As for Vaggie though, you have no other option than to go online. Just be very, very careful when shopping for her though. Let's fast forward another 3 months to July of 2019 with the release of Wave 2 of Hazbin Hotel pins. Just like Wave 1, there's 4 brand new pins, those being Cherry Bomb, Serpentious, Husk, and Egg Boy. Oh, you also see there as well, there's JJ from her Die Young animation, but that's not a Hazbin Hotel character. Thankfully, just like Wave 1, none of these pins were limited edition, but the only one that's in stock right now is Serpentious. Husk and Cherry Bomb were in stock a few months ago, but are out at the moment. I'd reckon that Husk is gonna come back, but I don't really think Cherry Bomb will, because she was in stock for a very long time, and it said low stock on it, which sort of, to me, feels like it's indicating that's the final stock of it, and it might be retired now. However, Egg Boy suffers from the same fate as Vaggie. He's been out of stock for ages and is 99% retired. Plus, finding this guy online is really tough. I never see it for sale. Probably wasn't much of a hot seller. Oh, and if you're wondering about that JJ pin, well, it's also been out of stock for a very long time. And you guessed it, it's probably retired. We're keeping the streak going with pins dropping every 3 months as we head into October 2019 with the first ever wave consisting entirely of limited edition pins. These pins dropped like right after the Hazbin Hotel pilot release, so that was when the hype for Hazbin was real. So these pins did not last very long, and remember, since these are limited edition, once they sold out once, they were gone for good. Of course, every single one of these pins are very, very rare, and I don't have a single one of them. It's like a once-in-a-blue moon occurrence that you'll find one of these up for sale, and if you do, it's most likely that they're going to be at least $500. Something to be very, very wary of is that there is a fake of the Alistair portrait pin. Thankfully, though, there is no fakes of any of the other pins from this drop, but there is one of that Alistair. The fake one's got some minor differences, the biggest one being, if you actually got it in person yourself, you'd notice that it's actually smaller than one of the official portrait pins. So be careful when shopping for the Alistair portrait pin, and just know that if you ever see one up for sale for $10 or so, just know that there's like a 99.9% chance that it's fake. Now we finally break the 3-month streak of pins releasing, with the next wave coming out only a month after the Halloween drop. This also being a few days after the Helluva Boss pilot aired. This set consists of 9 pins, 5 Helluva and 4 Hazbin. The 5 Helluva ones being the 5 main characters, Millie, Moxie, Blitz, Luna and Stolas, and then for Hazbin Hotel you got Neon Alistair, Nifty, as well as Katie Killjoy and Tom Trench. You'll be happy to know that none of these are limited edition, most of them are pretty easy to find. Of course, a lot of them are out of stock at the moment, but all of them get regular restocks except for Katie Killjoy and Tom Trench, which I am almost certain are also retired. Makes sense, I guess, because they are definitely more obscure characters. I've got all the pins from this set except for Katie and Tom, which are of course very, very hard to find, and I want these ones very, very badly, so if anybody watching this video has those too, and you're willing to depart with them, you know, hit me up, hit me up. There is a fake of one of the pins from this set, that being your boy Tom Trench, so of course when you're looking for him, be careful. We now continue our schedule of 3-month breaks for between pin drops, with the next one being February 2020 with a Valentine's special pin, that being the Heart of Alistair. Again, this pin was limited edition, has been sold out for ages, and is now very, very rare. Boom, speedrun. Allow me to introduce a new concept. 2-month break between pins. Oh, crazy. So this new wave consists of 6 new pins. This wave consists of both Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss pins, 3 from each series, and this wave has a lot going for it. So the Text and Luna and the Spooky Alistair, you know, they get restocked pretty regularly. The Imp logo, I was almost certain that one was retired. It had been out of stock for like a year, but a few weeks ago, they randomly brought it back. Now, the Sneaky Blitz one, I am almost certain is retired. It's been out of stock for a very, very long time, and it wasn't restocked a few weeks ago alongside the Imp logo. And looking at this picture, you'll also notice that it was selling the worst. As for Vox and Valentino, I'm really not sure. They could be retired, they could not. All I know is that they've been out of stock for a long time. As we move into June 2020, we get yet again another very, very rare limited edition pin. This awesome pin of Demon Charlie and Demon Alistair is one of the tops on my wish list, but unfortunately, it is very, very rare. The only way you could have obtained this pin was from pre-ordering both of the Demon plushies. The plushies costed $30, and to get the pin, you had to pre-order the bundle of both of them, so you'd be paying $60 if you wanted to get that pin. On top of that, the pre-order only lasted for 2 weeks, so you only had 2 weeks to throw $60 into these plushies and get that pin. But there's something I want more than the Demon pin. That's the Demon plushies themselves. I've been looking for these forever, so if any of you have those 2 Demon plushies, let me know. After that, it wasn't long until the first summer-themed pin drop, which was in July of 2020. This wave consists of 6 pins, one of them being a 4-pack and another being a 2-pack, and they were also all limited edition. Just so you know, every single holiday-themed line of pins, such as Halloween or summer, they're always all limited edition. Unfortunately, I also don't have any pins from this wave, but I've been looking for the Luna and Alistair ones for a long time. But thankfully, they are hard to find, but they're not anywhere near as hard to find as some previous pins. You should be able to get most of these for around $100. This next pin comes from August of 2020 and was a 4-pack, and the only way you could obtain it was from pre-ordering the bundle of the 4 Helluva Boss plushies. I like this pin set. They're stylized to be like the actual Helluva boss plushies, and just like the pin from the Demon plush bundle, this was only around for 2 weeks. In September 2020, another plush rolled out, which also meant there was another pre-order bonus pin to go with it. This time, it was the Fat Nuggets plush, and if you pre-ordered that one in the 2-week period, you got this awesome little pin of Angel Dust hugging Fat Nuggets. Just a month later, in October 2020, the second wave of Halloween pins came out. Wow, they were really on a roll with pins in 2020, weren't they? As you can see, there were plentiful new pins this time around, including 4 brand new 4-packs, 2 skull ones and 2 zombie ones. Now, funny thing about this, those 2 zombie pin bundles are still in stock right now. Literally almost 2 years later, they must have really overstocked on them. Because remember, all of these pins are limited edition, so when they sell out once, they're gone for good. So that means those zombie ones have never sold out before. And you can also see there's these 5 like unique artwork type ones, and then a whole new line of Series 2 portrait pins. Another interesting one is the Vox portrait pin. All the other portrait ones from this wave sold out ages and ages ago, but that portrait of Vox one only sold out a few months ago. Again, must have really overstocked on them. We saw another huge pin drop in November of 2020 for Black Friday. This drop was a mixture of limited edition and non-limited edition pins. These ones are all regular pins that receive restocks frequently. Oh, and by the way, the middle row there are all Suphobia pins, and then the last 4 on the bottom row are from the Holidays short, but the rest of them are all Hazbin and Helluva. This drop also saw the beginning of the chibi heart pins, which is definitely one of my favorites. I just love absolutely everything about them. They're so cool. Thankfully, none of these are limited edition, so you shouldn't have much difficulty tracking down any of these cuties. Oh, and something really interesting about the Chibi Alistair pin, there's actually 2 versions of that. The original one had Alistair without his gloves, but this first restock of it, he actually did have his gloves. So if you have this pin, go and take a look at it. If he doesn't have the gloves, you've got the first batch. And here's all the limited edition pins from the stock. So firstly, we've got 4 4-packs, 2 gingerbread ones, and 2 ones that are called cutie ones, are real simplified designs, and those 2 ones are actually still in stock right now, and also an addict pin set. And with that, we can now move into 2021, and they kicked off with a new Valentine's drop. 6 all new pinup pins released to spice up your collection, all of these being limited edition. They also released 8 other pins, 5 of which were limited edition and 3 of which were just regular ones that restock. We now move into April 2021 with the release of 2 brand new free pin packs. They were only available for 2 weeks from pre-ordering either the free Helluva Boss plushies or the free Hazbin Hotel plushies. So that means it would have costed $90 within that 2-week period to get one of the pins, and if you wanted to get both of them, you'd have to fork out $180. A month later, in May of 2021, there was this random pin drop of 13 pins. It also introduced the brand new concept of hanging tail pins, which I think are really cool. At the beginning of August, we got the second wave of summer pins, 20 all new limited edition pins, and a handful of them are still in stock right now. Personally, I love this wave. It's one of my favorites, and I've got about 3/4 of the pins from it. Some really great designs in this one. Just a month later, in September 2021, we got another random pin release with a bunch of random different types of pins in it. Some classic ones, some chibi heart ones, and then some hanging tail ones. Just a couple of weeks later, a massive Halloween pin drop came around. How'd your wallet feel after that one, eh? This time there was a bunch of awesome pins in this one. Again, another one of my favorite waves. So you got a bunch of new portrait ones, bunch of gold ones, witch ones, and my favorite of them all, the changing portrait ones. Another month passed, and then we got the largest pin wave of all, that being the Black Friday 2021 wave. And personally, this is one of my least favorite waves, to be honest. I love the dice struck ones, but I really don't like those rubber hose or gold chibi ones. Okay, hang in there because we're almost done as we now move into 2022. Firstly, in February of 2022, we got the largest Valentine's sale of them all. You'll notice that as time went on, the waves just got bigger and bigger. So this time around, we got a bunch of new pinups and then 5 gold heart pins. In May 2022, there was another random pin drop which introduced a lot of new concepts such as glitter pins, spinning pins, and then another awesome one, jumbo pins that come in these neat collector boxes. And now we finally come to an end with the most recent drop, that being the summer 2022 drop. We got another jumbo pin this time around, another 4-pack, a bunch of these chibi type ones, and then a bunch of swimsuit ones. Okay, finally. Jeez, that took a hell lot of time, but hopefully it was worth it and you learned a lot more than what you did know before you clicked on this video. So that's going to do it, everyone, and thanks for watching.